Happy Sunday. It's looking like it's gonna be a better day. Thank you all for your kind words about hoping that my day was better, because yesterday was rough. The sun is out, so that's always a plus. I got to sleep in today. I didn't have to get up early to go anywhere. And now we are getting ready to go watch a football game out at a restaurant with some friends. But Mike looked at the menu and it just doesn't look like there's many options on there for us except for burger patties. And I just don't want to go out to a restaurant and pay for a plain burger patty, which I would have to get multiple of them, which is going to cost me quite a bit of money when I have burgers here that I could eat. So I think what we're gonna do is just go ahead and eat here before we go to the restaurant, and then we'll just sit and watch the game with our friends and we won't eat anything. They'll all be eating, but that's fine. I'm gonna be breaking my fast here pretty soon. So I just wanna show you guys, I know I've showed this before, but I'm gonna show it again because John asked, but what is in my fat coffee? So I always add 2 tablespoons of butter. I put that usually in my cup before I start my coffee, so that way the coffee running over it melts it. And then obviously I showed you guys this before, I just use Great Value coffee. I'm not a coffee person like per se. Then I add 1 egg, 1 raw egg. Then I put a scoop of unflavored collagen in mine. Obviously, you can leave this out if you just want to do the butter and the egg. That's perfectly fine. But I use collagen every day. I have since I started my keto journey. And then I put in 1 dropper full of electrolytes. And that's it. And then I just blend it really well until it gets real frothy. And as you can see, as I was telling you guys, it makes it super frothy. So ready to go. So just to show you guys real quick what I'm having my fat coffee. I'm eating the rest of my hamburger from last night. I made myself 4 deviled eggs, and I am going to have a couple of the butter bites. Hi guys, we're back. So we did not get to record our dinner tonight because I had a video call that I was going to be on, and it was going to be like right when we sat down to eat. We just had steaks for dinner. That was it. Steaks with some of those butter bites on top, cooked in bacon fat. So, and I have to tell you guys, I have to admit this, as bad as my face looked when I ate those butter bites, was that yesterday? It seems like an eternity ago. They're actually growing on me. He doesn't like them at all, but the more I eat them, the more I like them. So. And
as I told her, she can have them all.
Yeah.
Because I don't want nothing to do with them.
I think I ate like 5 of them earlier with my lunch. Like, they were really good.
Putting them on our steak and letting them melt over the steak, and then, you know, with the bacon, that's great.
Yeah.
But I'm not eating them like they are. I'm sorry.
I'm going to make them again, and I'm going to try to cook them longer, because that's what everyone's saying, is that it looked like I didn't cook them long enough. And I'm also excited about for when BBBE is over to make them.
Oh. Oops.
To make them and add some kind of flavoring to them. Like somebody said vanilla, or, you know, some other kind of flavoring or sweetener I think would be good. So I'm going to try that.
So when you do make them again, and we'll revisit this when we get to that point, but I will try them again.
You're usually pretty good and up for trying.
But as of right now, they're awful. So
he's like, it's just like eating a pat of butter.
Yeah.
I mean,
I love butter, but if I'm going to eat butter, I want it melted on something.
Yeah.
You know, so it just,
not just plain.
You
wouldn't drink it.
Just take a stick of butter and I start like a lollipop. No, thank you. No, thank you.
So anyway, we had steaks for dinner. They were delicious.
Yeah, they were. And, you know, it's funny you say that because you cooked them again.
I have now cooked 3 steaks.
Right. And she cooked them in the air fryer like she did mine the other day. Mine was a little thicker than hers. So hers came out basically well done. It was still tender and juicy, but it was cooked all the way through. Mine was thicker and had a little bit of pink in it, and it was perfect. Again,
yeah.
The flavor wasn't as good as the time you made it for me for lunch the other day. It tasted good, but the other one had really good flavor on it.
I wonder why, because I don't think that I did anything different.
Yeah, it just had a little, but I mean, it was delicious. It was so good.
Yeah. So that was dinner tonight. We survived going out to watch the football game with our friends. We sat and drank water, and everybody else had food and appetizers.
So look, guys, this BBBE thing for me is a first. This is the first time I've ever tried it. It's day 15, so we're getting close to the midway point.
Tomorrow, after lunch, we are halfway.
I have never in my life drank only water.
Especially out at a restaurant.
Exclusively only water for any length of time, let alone 15 straight days. We go out to a restaurant, I eat nothing. This is one of our favorite restaurants that has a huge menu with lots and lots of good stuff, right? Good tasting stuff.
Not good for you.
Not good for you, no.
But they do the cheese foldovers.
You said do.
They do.
I told you I'm not holding back anymore. You say it, I'm going to announce it to the world.
They have cheese foldovers, which are basically like a crustless pizza.
Yeah.
And so that's an option of something that we would normally get when
yeah,
we were there.
During a normal time, yes, they have options that we can.
It's just cheese.
They have buffalo chicken dip, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I do it with the celery.
Yeah.
But they just make a big cheese thing and they put all the toppings in and like fold it over, and yeah, that's something that we will get when we go there.
But today, because of BBBE, we could not. They have nothing except hamburgers on the menu that we could have eaten.
I talked about it earlier.
Yeah, and we didn't want to eat hamburgers again, so we just chose not to do that.
I just didn't want to pay out the nose for hamburgers because, you know, in order to be full, we would have had to eat 2 to 3 patties.
Yeah.
And we
especially restaurant patties.
Yeah, and when we could eat hamburgers at home. Yeah. I mean, that just would have been a waste of money.
we saved quite a bit of money.
I just tipped the waitress, you know, a little bit
for
she
bringing
took care
of us with our water.
Bringing us water.
She did.
We watched the football game. How long were we there? Like three and a half hours?
Yeah, 3.5, 3:45.
Yeah. So, and she brought us waters. I think I drank like 5 of them or something the whole time. So I'm like, well, I'm not just going to sit here and drink water and then not at least give her something for doing that. So,
but my whole point is that there's a lot of firsts going on in this whole BBBE challenge for me, and not eating while watching a football game is another one of those things that I've never done in my lifetime. I'm not going to say it was hard. It wasn't terrible.
We made sure we ate though right before we left, so we weren't hungry.
But I mean, my one buddy had wings, which normally, even if they're cooked in bad oil, I mean, sometimes we'll have wings.
Yeah.
My other buddy had cheese sticks, which are one of my favorites. So, I mean, it just was difficult because I'm used to having an off-plan meal when we do something like that.
Yeah.
And I didn't. And this is like the second time in like 3 days where I've had food shoved in my face.
Not to change the subject, but you want to tell them what happened to you in the shower today?
I didn't know we were going to talk about my shower escapades. I mean, this is a PG video. So, yeah, here's what happened in the shower. My daughter took a shower before me, and she used all the hot water, every last drop.
That is not what
I got in the shower. It was ice cold. I could barely get in and out before I froze to death. That's not what you were talking about?
That's not what I was talking about.
Oh.
No.
Sorry about that. So, I'm in the shower. I'm washing, right? My left hand, that you see over here, that has my wedding ring on it, just hanging down normal as I'm washing. And all of a sudden, I hear this loud ting, 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 ting. And I have no idea what the heck this is. I'm looking around going, what was that? I look down, my wedding ring literally fell off my hand. Slid right off my finger onto the bathtub floor.
Ooh.
That might not be a good thing.
Yeah.
Like maybe I need to eat a few more carbs. I don't know. But I've never had my wedding ring slide off my finger without me actually having to try to remove it.
Pulling it off.
Because if I show you, and I don't know if you can see this, but it comes off very easy. It barely touches my knuckle as it is. So for it to slide off like that,
yeah,
it was scary because now I'm thinking to myself, what happens if I'm, if I'm at work or something, I work on a steel, you know, around a lot of steel. What if my ring falls off and it hits the ground and I can't find it?
Or you wouldn't hear it in there, I bet.
No.
There's so much noise. Also, Mike, I have a little bit of an NSV. Mike told me at the restaurant today that my silhouette looked thinner.
All right, so
from the side,
the camera adds 10 pounds. Sit back.
Oh,
so The reason I said that was because obviously I see Dawn every day and I see her differently than she sees herself. Now I've looked at pictures, right? Pictures that you've taken over the last 2 years and you see a noticeable difference. We know that. And there's a picture of you holding our granddaughter, Audrey, at one point, I believe, where it's very evident at how thinned out you've become. Mm-hmm. And then of course, you know, you did have that little setback where, you know, you put on a few pounds, but nothing over the top. But I've noticed, I was just telling her today while we were sitting, because we were sitting just like this, and I would look over at her and I could see her silhouette. And I'm just like, wow, you can really see the definition of her cheekbones and her face again. So clearly.
And I've always had just like a really round face though. As thin as I get, like I'll lose my, you know, double chin and whatnot. But my face, the shape of my face is very round. And that's just.
Yeah, I mean, but from the side, the profile side looks, I mean, she looks beautiful anyway, but I'm just saying, if you feel like, you know, you're not making any progress on BBBE or just keto in general, a lot of times it takes somebody else's perspective.
Well, yeah, because we don't see ourselves, you know, we see the person, the heavy person we always were. And it's very hard for us to look in the mirror and see a new person or a new body, because in our minds, we just go there. And it's like, sometimes we'll put something on and you're like amazed that it fits, because you're like, there's no way this is gonna fit, you know?
As I'm sitting here, as we're doing this video, you know, and of course I can see myself, and I'm realizing just how gray.
You talked about that already in another video.
No, I know, but it's just, it's punching me in the face again.
We need to get
I would have shaved today, but my daughter used all the hot water. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, he looks a lot younger when he shaves because it gets rid of all that gray. So. All right, so that, I think those were just a couple things I wanted to talk about. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about our chapter today in Dr. Berry's book. I will read the lie real quickly for you.
So this book is phenomenal. I think we've made that very clear, right? I also want to tell you that this chapter right here just kind of hit me. It's a very, very important chapter, and I think most all of us can relate to this chapter, because I think this is a textbook definition of society today and how we live.
So this chapter is basically about taking antibiotics. And the lie is your runny nose, earache, or cough won't get better unless you take a course of antibiotics. If you take an antibiotic, you will get over your runny nose, earache, or cough more quickly. And I think that most of us have heard that you don't need an antibiotic for a virus, or that it doesn't work on a virus.
Yeah, anything viral is non-receptive to antibiotics.
But you might think to yourself, yeah, it might not work, but what could it hurt to go ahead and take it?
Not only that, but also because a doctor prescribes it, right? And so we trust our doctor. And so our doctor gives us, not all doctors, I'm going to say that because I've had doctors in the past who have said, this is viral, there's nothing we can do about it. You just got to
let it run its course.
Let it run its course. You can treat the symptoms, you know, if you need to sleep or something, but it's just going to take a few days.
Yeah, so that's basically what it boils down to. What Dr. Berry is saying is that we have a ton of bacteria in our body. And in this day and age, we've become paranoid about bacteria in general. We use, you know, antibacterial hand sanitizer at every turn. We want, you know, everything to be germ-free. And honestly, that's not the best thing for us. We have more bacteria in our body, 100 to 1 of our DNA. So you have your DNA, and for each piece of DNA, there's 100 bacteria in your body.
And most of the bacteria in our body is good bacteria.
Right. So what
it's there for a reason.
Right. There's very little bad bacteria, but we take an antibiotic to fight that bad bacteria. But guess what? The antibiotic doesn't know the difference between the bad bacteria and the good bacteria. So when you take an antibiotic, you're actually attacking and doing harm to the good bacteria in your body. Right. So taking an antibiotic and thinking, well, maybe it won't help with this cold, but how could it hurt? It actually can hurt you. This is basically what this chapter is about. Antibiotics are overprescribed and overtaken. And we're not saying that there's not a time or a place that you might need an antibiotic, but that we do definitely take them more than we need to.
It ties in with the food idea that we overindulge to a degree. And we do that with antibiotics because penicillin comes in so many different forms and is used for so many different things. And it's relatively inexpensive. So it's easy to write a prescription and dispense it. And people just don't think twice about it because there's really no side effects to it. It doesn't change anything about you. Just a couple days later, you start to feel better.
But you would have felt better anyway.
Right.
That's the thing.
Yep. And you know, another thing about overusing antibiotics is that the bad bacteria then can become resistant. You build up a tolerance and then it no longer is effective. So yeah, taking it's not always the right thing to do. And I think sometimes you
want to make sure it's for a bacteria and it's for a bacteria that will not just go away on its own. That's the two things. Just something to think about. I honestly, guys, since I started keto, which has been over 2 years ago, I have not been sick. I don't get sick, knock on wood. I know you want to knock on something. Oh my goodness. Because I haven't had to go to the doctor or get an antibiotic for anything at all. And I used to get sinus infections every year, like clockwork. It would start up, especially in the fall, because I have a lot of like seasonal allergies in the fall, and I would forever getting a sinus infection. And I honestly can't tell you the last time I was sick.
And the same with me. I mean, Dawn and I have been very blessed. We've not been sickly type people. We've not had to deal with illness or sickness a lot. But the seasonal allergy thing, right? So that comes around once or twice a year, especially in Northeast Ohio because of the change of seasons. And a lot of times that would develop into a sinus infection or some other upper respiratory
you get the
infection.
Drainage, it gives you a sore throat, you know, the whole nine
But
yards.
even recently, when we have these bouts of, you know, allergy-related sinuses and stuff, that's it. It goes away.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like because of the change in our diet, and I think also, you know, added better sleep, but all around, I think that's helped us be healthier.
So what I just want to wrap it up with this is that going forward, reading this chapter will just make us think twice about going to the doctor and trying to get an antibiotic if we don't feel well. Again, if it's something that you feel like you truly need an antibiotic for, don't not take an antibiotic, because antibiotics save lives, and that has also been proven. He talked about that, but they've also harmed a lot of people too because they're being overused. So that's it for tonight, guys. And I'm going to try to get this video up for you. As usual, it's already almost 9 o'clock, so let's hope we get it up before midnight.
Oh, honey, we'll get it up.
Tomorrow starts week 3. Day 1 of week 3 tomorrow. And after 12 o'clock, we will be halfway.
Oh, and one last thing. Go Cowboys.
We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Bye. I know you are. I know you are. That's why I didn't move.
I wanted to see how long you would sit there.
I'll do it all day because I did it the other day. I did that and you stopped.